Hello, tonight's show comes from Goodison as Everton take on Arsenal. Extended highlights on the way, plus the thoughts of Ian Wright and Darren Fletcher. We've got all of yesterday's goals as well, and highlights of the FA Cup semi-final between Watford and Wolves. But as far as this game is concerned, Everton come into it having won their last two. Arsenal are looking to cement a place in the top four, having taken 16 points out of a possible 18.
Deserve the 3 points. With more goals, I think will be more fair because the chances we created. We should score more goals this afternoon, but of course, it's a fantastic win for us. Even if you are a really offensive team, it's fantastic to be solid. Just in this way, you can keep achieving the results.
But we are fourth now, and we need continuing being positive. And after the result our opportunity is less opportunity, but we're continuing. And we lost today, but I am the same positive before because I knew it's going to be difficult.
We played well today. We limited Arsenal to very few chances and created quite a few ourselves, and starting to find our feet with a little bit of momentum these last few games. And the key aspect is to keep a clean sheet and give normally our strikers a chance to win the game, but thankfully today it was me.
Jagielka is our captain. It's important when he's on the pitch, when he's out of the pitch, and he really deserved the goal he scored and helped the team to win.
It's exciting times, and hopefully I'll be here to maybe help out for as long as possible. But like I say, I'm really enjoying it as it is.
Well, alongside Ian and Darren, I'm delighted to say we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin with us. I know these two both thought you were the man of the match. You were dominant out there.
Yeah, it was. We always knew it was going to be a tough game, but I think we started the game really well, high tempo, and that's what we intended to do. And I think, we kind of shocked them at times. We knew they were going to have a lot of the ball, but we produced quality when we needed to, and thankfully we got the result.
You must be delighted with your own individual performance.
I think it's been a long time coming. It's taken a while to get to this point, but I'm glad that things are starting to fall into place for me. It's me helping the team out and doing what I can to try and win.
We're going to show your best bits on the screen so you can kind of look at that whilst Ian asks you a question, but you might not pay attention to the question, you just might enjoy watching yourself.
No, what it was is the way you put yourself about. Was that something that they said? Because you seem to occupy both of them in respect of Mustafi and Socrates. Was it something that you definitely work on?
Yeah, I think, they played three at the back, didn't they? So we knew they was going to do that, and I think from the first five, when I've kind of spun in behind and they were frightened to death, I think, and as soon as I'd done that, they were dropping pretty quick and leaving me a lot of space to kind of work with the ball, and they didn't really fancy running in behind.
Yeah, as you said, that's right. You said you dominated them all game, really. I thought that the big thing we were noticing about Arsenal is they had nobody stretching the pitch. You were doing that for Everton, which allowed the space in behind you for Richarlison and Bernard, and that's you sacrificing yourself for the greater good of the team as well.
I think so, yeah. It's important as a lone striker that you do all these things, and if you're not going to score, can you affect the game in different ways? And that's what I try to do, and I like to think I've done that today, and helped us get the win.
What about in respect to what you're working on as a centre forward? Because you've got to put yourself about like you did there, and the link-up play. What would you say you need to work on that's going to keep you in this team?
For me, I think at the moment it's just keep doing what I'm doing. We're on a decent little run at the moment, but ultimately it's scoring goals. Scoring goals is what I want to do, so I think if I can start adding goals to them types of performances, there's nothing anyone can really say.
You've had a good run through the middle now, up top, haven't you? Because you have been out wide as well over the course of your Everton career. A, do you feel the run through the middle has helped you? And B, do you now feel more physically capable, stronger to perform that role?
I think the runs give me a massive confidence boost. I think I'm backing myself a lot more now to hold the ball up and do the things that I know I'm capable of doing, and I think that's the big difference. When you don't get a run a game, sometimes you run low on confidence, and I think I'm high on confidence at the moment, and it's showing.
Do you talk to Duncan Ferguson as well as part of the pack? I mean, you'd be daft not to, I suppose.
I do, yeah. He helps me out. He helps me out a lot. I'm putting myself about on the pitch, and that's something he used to do. So I work a lot with him every day on my finishing and things like that. So he does help me a lot.
And a final question, just on the team as a whole. That's Chelsea beaten here. A fantastic performance at West Ham when you could have been 4 or 5 up in the first half hour. You could have had 3 or 4 here. What's changed over the last month, 6 weeks?
I think certain things have gone our way, and we've got results that perhaps earlier on in the season we wouldn't have got. And I think, like I say, confidence and momentum's a massive thing, and I always maintained the belief that we had bags of ability in the team. It was just a matter of things kind of clicking into place, and I think now, there was that run where we'd not beat a top 6 team for a while, and now we've done 2, so things are coming together.
Yeah, the big thing I noticed this season ever is started the game, a lot of first half slow, and then second half he's raised the tempo and obviously come on to good performances. Has the manager realised the fans demand that, and it's a bit of both, the fans realising what the manager gives, plus at the same time the manager realising what the fans want? You seem to all put it together recently.
I think so, yeah. You look like when I close the keeper down in the bottom corner and how much of a massive lift it gives to the fans, and we're all well aware that the fans, you know, they respond really well to that here, and that's what they want, just maximum effort. And I think, you know, when we do get the fans going, it's a massive plus side for us.
And in the middle of that, Ian's high-fiving Duncan Ferguson as he walks past with a big grin. And there he's waving at us as well. Listen, Dominic, congratulations on your performance and on the team performance. Thank you very much for joining us.
Great stuff. Well played,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Well, I tell you what, let's do the Everton performance as a whole first, and then we'll look at the goal, because they could have had 4 or 5, seriously, couldn't they?
Yeah, they started really well. I was a little bit disappointed with Arsenal's selection in the first place, but I suppose we'll get onto that. But you have to say the way Everton started, with obviously Gomez, Bernard started really sharply. They just looked like a team that were very, very, I don't know, they were very prepared for Arsenal. They knew that if they started, then they might be able to shock them and start. And I think that they did do that. Arsenal did not get going. They couldn't get going.
Do you think they have a balance about them, in the sense that everybody appears to be playing in their right position, which doesn't sometimes happen with a lot of sides?
You look around the team and you think to yourself, it's a well-balanced side. You know, they've got quality all over the pitch. They look solid. As you say, everyone's playing in their natural position, making things happen. But the lad we just had beside us today was the catalyst to Everton's performance today. From the first minute, he ran channels, he triggered the press, he bullied the 3 centre-halves. And the one thing missing, as he alluded to, was a goal, but he gives you so much more than that. And
just a final thing on that then, as a striker yourself, just being able to play that role, I mean, it's the same for us, I suppose, any position, but just being able to play the same role week in, week out?
Well, it's difficult what he's done today, because if, you know, of course his age is going to help him, and the fact that he's so young and he's so effervescent, he wants to do it, and he's trying to cement a place in this team. But you do need a lot more chances than he maybe got today, because he did put himself out for the team today. So you're hoping, and like he said, he wants to add goals to performances like that, and then all of a sudden he's going to be a real problem to people.
I'm guessing you and Duncan Ferguson weren't as friendly on the pitch as you were.
You're always friendly with Duncan, because you didn't want him to give you that look for a start, and you're glad that you weren't in and around him as a centre half.
So there were some doubts over the Everton goal about whether it was a foul throw or not from Luca Digne, which we can see. Looked at the law here, and as long as any part of the foot or boot is touching the touchline, it doesn't count as a foul throw.
Okay.
So
that's new to me.
Well, that's fine then, because that's what I was hoping I was going to say, using his excuse, but his foot was definitely on the line. You can see it there. His foot was on the line, so...
Which means there's no excuse.
No, there's no excuse. And, you know, in the end, you have to say, the way Everton played, Chappers, they deserve to win it on the way they started the game.
Going back to the goal, Jagielka wins the first header, then puts in the back of the net for the winning goal. You know, the biggest thing on set pieces like that, it's never the first header that scores, it's always the second ball. That's why I was disappointed with Mustafi there. He challenges for the first header and then he just switches off, thinks his job's done. They're ball watching, you've got to pick up men after that, and Jagielka starts the move and finishes it and ultimately gives Everton the lead.
So for you, did that goal, even though it was quite early on, sum up the whole performance?
Pretty much so. You know, they've bullied them in the penalty box. They've been the best for second balls, and that was throughout the whole half and throughout the whole game, and ultimately that's what led to the goal. The biggest worry for Everton was the fact that it was only 1-0 for a long time. While it was like that, they always gave Arsenal a chance, because Arsenal are capable of scoring. They've got a lot of quality on the pitch. You know, the biggest surprise for me was Mesut Ozil going off, because I thought he was Arsenal's best player and looked the most dangerous and likely to make something happen.
So is this Groundhog Day for another Arsenal away performance, along with Ipswich? They're the only two clubs still to keep a clean sheet away from home in the all 4 divisions in the league.
I suppose, you know, that stat in itself is not ideal, but you have to say the way Arsenal started today, and I agree with Darren. Although when Ramsey came on, he really did change the game. Iwobi tried as well, but I probably would have liked to have seen Arsenal start. When you find out where Arsenal reached in this league, they're in 4th position. No one would have thought that at the start of the season that it would have happened like it has. So it was an opportunity. It's an opportunity to start Aubameyang, start Lacazette, get Ozil on the pitch, start with Ramsey. We know he's leaving. Get your best players on the pitch and really have a go at Everton to start with. And I thought we missed the trick in that respect.
But they didn't have a go, did they? Really, they had that
No.
10-minute spell, and,
No,
and that was about it. And it felt like they were bullied. I'm not questioning desire, but it felt like Everton had more desire. They were quicker to the ball.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was the kind of performance that you look at and people say, yeah, that's the kind of performance you're going to get out of Arsenal, especially when they're in a position where they have to prove to people that they do want to try and get into the top four. Of course they do, but the way they started, there wasn't a lot of movement. It wasn't being passed around with a lot of intensity. And in the end, you know, Everton, it kind of gave them the impetus to keep going forward and putting them under pressure. And I think that it was fortunate that they didn't get another goal.
Just end with Everton, and although Dominic got man of the match, Andre Gomez in the middle of midfield was just sensational, wasn't he?
Having played against him myself, I know how good he is, but he was unbelievable today. I think he had one mistake where Ramsey nicked it off him, but that was it.
Why is he so good then? If you've played against him, why is he so good?
First of all, is his stature. You know, he's a big man and he holds you off and he uses his body well, but he's got everything. He receives the ball under pressure, as I said, he's got size so he can retain it. He's got a range of passing. He's not afraid to work hard and stick his foot. And that was probably the big question mark of him coming to the Premier League. Was he willing to, adapt to the demands of the physical nature of the Premier League? And he has, and then he's allowed his quality to excel. It didn't quite happen for him at Barcelona, but that's quite a big level.
It's going to cost them, as somebody chants at you, it's going to cost them a lot of money to keep him.
And if they can, I'm sure there'll be other teams looking at him. I'm sure Arsenal might fancy him. There'll be other clubs looking at him. So if Everton want to get this done, they've got to do it quick, and it's going to have to pay the money. But it is what it is these days.
Okay, for the moment, thank you very much. Let's show you all.